Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tradesman Experience. This is the podcast built by tradesmen for tradesmen. My name is Josh, and the only person in the studio today is Mr. Nate Newton. Nate, how are you, sir?
Fucking weird, isn't it?
It's a little quiet.
I know.
It's a little quiet.
I mean,
even
this,
know where to
th-
go
this
from here.
series has been fucking awesome, though.
Dude.
Like, the one with the Fab team was great. The one with Sabrina was great. I know we did the one with
Louise, it's coming up.
Louise. Yeah,
Mhm.
that one's gonna be good. It's good to sit down and just talk you and I again, though. So
It is. I was originally going to try to, put their conversations in intermittently, and it seems that we're doing it our conversations
Right.
intermittently, and I'm fine with that.
right.
The last conversations we've had have just been gold, and it's always so interesting. I know it is for me. You and I sit here and we have these conversations and we do these interviews, but to go back and listen to them detached
Mm-hmm.
is, I'm like, man, that right there, like 18 minutes in, and I don't remember specifically what it was, but our conversation with Sabrina,
Mm-hmm.
like 18 minutes in, it is just fucking fire.
Yeah. Right.
Ah, man.
Yeah, she's very well put together. She's really, like I really love the perspective that she brought to the table with the whole thing. And one of the really cool parts about having these conversations, one, it's shit people don't want to talk about, so it's good to get it out there. But for two, to see the way that these women operate, and they're like, the take no shit kind of attitudes, and like they found a way to navigate the trades. And now it's all out on display.
Yeah.
So it's like anybody wanting to get into it, it's like, okay, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with some shit. But what fucking job do you not?
Mhm.
You know?
And I appreciated the fact that they have that kind of take no shit attitude, and they understand that the ignorance in people is going to brand them as just being bitchy or trying too hard to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
What dude doesn't do that, right? What dude
Yeah.
doesn't peacock
We do that with each other
all the time?
Yeah.
But as soon as she does it,
Mhm.
yeah, she's some colorful name
Right.
that they get labeled with to justify their behavior through your own ignorance of perception.
Right.
Like, what? Why can't she just be all? You have to be tough to be in the trades.
Right.
I
Well,
mean-
it's like you get a woman in the workplace, and it's just like everybody's like, "What do I do? I don't know how to." They act like they've never seen a fucking woman before. You're like, dude, you got a mom? Clearly not. You got mommy issues,
Yeah,
don't you?
clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly not. But I have gained so much perspective
Mhm.
over the last few weeks, and I'm finalizing some scheduling for the weeks to come.
Mhm.
Some more conversations. I don't know any of the ones coming up that are going to be in person. I think a lot of them are going to be virtual.
Mhm. Yeah, but the new setup you have for the virtual
Thank
shit
you.
is
And
pretty.
you see
yeah.
the mid screen. I don't know if it used to be a big screen. The
Yeah.
mid screen on the table.
Dude, I had a 55 inch. I moved in with Nick, and I had
Yeah.
a 55-inch TV that was all backlit and everything. He's like, "No, I got a 75-inch." I'm like, "What the fuck for?" Like,
Yeah.
dude, this house is 1,200 square feet. Like, how far away from this fucking TV do you think you're gonna be?
I have a 70 in my living room.
Do you really?
I do.
Jesus Christ.
I do.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
I can see just fine, I guess, but
I stream movies.
Mm.
I don't have I don't have a subscription to any streaming
oh really?
platform right now.
Oh
No.
no shit.
No. And I haven't decided. You were asking me about what was that
Oh,
series?
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Dude, you're gonna fucking love Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
It's Apple TV.
Apple, okay.
Yeah.
So I like Apple TV. That's where all of my movie.
Oh, okay.
I'll purchase movies.
Yeah.
I'll spend like $5 on a good old movie.
Yeah. Right.
It comes out.
Rambo.
I'm not buying $20 movies.
Right,
I
right.
think that's
Like $3.99 is my cutoff.
yeah, and I'll flip through the $4.99,
Yeah.
$5.99, and it gets to $7.99. I'm like, oh, that's
Ugh.
no. I'm like, that's a
Gotta-
good movie, but it's
yeah.
not an $8 movie. So
I could go to the theater for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the 70s.
the ticket and popcorn for that. So you had sent me that message about Ted Lasso, and I'm like, oh,
It's
I think it's
fucking
on Apple TV.
Jason Sudeikis. So it's fucking funny, but
It
like,
would have to be with him.
dude, his leadership tactics and that, like, they're like, oh man, that guy hates you. They're like, yeah, we'll just wait till we win him over. It's like the dude's he's unapologetically an optimist,
Okay.
and like to a point of it being a fault and a little annoying, you know.
Gotcha.
But dude, it's hilarious. You're gonna dig it.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I think because I bought a new phone here a while back, I have free 3 months subscription. to
Oh, you
Apple
better hurry up.
TV. I know. That is a great example of just how ridiculous like I live my life.
Mhm.
You
Right.
know, it's very simple. It's very routine.
Mhm. Dude, I've gotten to the point now, you know, now that I'm on my own, like I've hawked most of my shit. I've
Mhm.
gotten rid of everything and living the simplistic lifestyle, not having all the crap to
So
worry
nice.
about, you know, like it's kind of nice.
It's so nice. I did invest in and have started going back to CrossFit.
Oh, that a girl.
Yeah, thanks. Man, I was just kind of bored with the gym again, and my boredom was creating reasons for me to not go every day. And
Yep.
so I started making excuses, and then started losing results. And I think I lost, I don't know, probably 15 pounds or more.
Jesus.
And it's like, all right, time to
Did
start
you have
all over
15 to
again.
lose?
Yeah,
Or- yeah.
believe it or not, I know you would think
Yeah.
it, but I once I got through my whole drinking spell,
Mhm.
and going back to CrossFit. I
Yeah.
like the structure. I like the intensity. I like the community of it.
Mhm.
And I found a gym about 1.5 miles from here, from the studio.
Oh shit.
And you set up and you go, and they kind of tour you the gym and talk to you about your experience and what you're looking for. And that turned into a 45-minute me interviewing the owner.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And touring the facility and asking him about things that, that I know that we had in our CrossFit gym that are important. Because
Like proper technique.
yeah, so not pushing RX or die kind of thing. And so many CrossFit gyms do. It's like everybody gets hung up on this leaderboard shit and their scores and the weights that they're pushing, and they want to kind of bastardize the people in the gym that aren't doing RX. And I didn't want any of that. I'm not interested in that.
Mhm.
I'm there to make myself better. I don't give a fuck what you're lifting. I
Right.
don't care about your score.
Mhm.
I don't care about you RXing the workout. I don't care.
It's kind of like being in business.
Exactly.
Quit giving a shit about what everybody else is doing. Do your own shit.
So that interview turned into me signing on, and CrossFit's expensive,
Mm-hmm.
but man, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love being back. It's been about 3 years since I've been doing it, and I'm so fucking sore. I'm so sore.
Yeah.
Even right now, my legs are just smoked.
You can't tell me that shit because the moment we go to leave here, I'm gonna be kicking you in the
Don't
fucking thigh.
kick me in the thigh.
That's like when I'm like, I'll tell Matt, I'm like, dude, I crushed a fucking chest workout last night. Dude, he just runs up and he just jabs me right in the fucking chest. I'm like, oh, you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, just don't grab my inner thigh. Might pee a little.
I think that's called semen, Josh.
Whatever. Whatever. Depends on the face I make, I think. But today, I had to have a locksmith come out.
Yeah, what fucking door was it? It was all fucked up.
This one.
Oh, this one into the office.
Hey, you see that handle?
Uh-huh.
That's a $291 handle.
Oh, what the fuck?
That's how much the bill was today.
That solid door handle that was at my old house.
Mm-hmm.
That was on that backsliding
Yep,
door that
yep.
I never. I was like refusing to replace it.
Yeah.
It was $250 for that fucking
For the
thing.
handle?
Yeah.
Well, I had a company come out because I rent this,
Right.
and they don't like you doing your own shit.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you had to put the old cylinder in the new, so the key's the same.
Yeah.
Could I do it? Yeah. Do I want to fuck with it? Not really.
Right.
I don't know how many trips I'd have to make to Home Depot to get the right doorknob.
Mm-hmm.
So I called him. Dude, they were here within an hour and 15 minutes
Oh,
of
no
me
shit.
calling. And I was like, oh, fucking A. He sat right there. He asked me, he looked around. He goes, you do a podcast? I was like, yeah, kind of. And
He's in the trades. You're not trying to sell him or what? Jesus.
And so I give him a business card, of course, talked to him
Mhm.
about the podcast, and he traded that out or changed that out. And I brought him a check for $291.
Why are you paying for it?
Tenant repair. I called him. He was like, yeah, that's on you. And I'm like,
What?
don't get me wrong. I broke the handle today
Oh, did you?
because my key got stuck in it, and I got angry.
Ah.
So I don't know what I twisted off inside of that thing,
Mm.
but I will tell you that the door handle that was on there was not burglar proof.
Look at that fucking door jam still there.
The door jam's steel, and that is a full solid core door. But that handle, I don't know what twisted inside, but I twisted it off.
Something came loose.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm in. I don't care about anything else." Fuck. So yeah, that was that undisciplined emotion cost me $300. So
Jesus.
fucking-
Tenant repair. What the fuck is that, dude?
I know. I don't.
Jesus Christ.
you
That's
know.
the whole upside to renting.
Well, dude, to be honest with you, for what I get this place for, I'm not really gonna.
You're not gonna complain about
I'm
it.
not gonna complain.
Mm.
No,
Well, I'll complain for you, Josh. Okay.
you look like a
I
complainer.
fucking nothing but just walk around bitching all day.
Speaking of bitching, that's how I'm going to use this segue into our
That's great.
conversation
Thank you for
tonight.
that,
Yeah, and appreciate that setup right there. A few weeks ago, I got the idea that with the season change coming, because it's high 30s and 40s here at night now.
Mhm. It's nice.
It's so nice. I would visit the local supply houses that serve HVAC, plumbing, and electrical companies. And I was going to propose to them to
Oh, that's good.
host. Yeah, I'd be like, "Will you
Will.
please give me money?" No, I was going to, ask them to sponsor or host training for their clients. So the residential service companies that they do work for, because for me, it's super easy marketing. They're going to market to their clients, and we were going to do this RVT training. It's this training that I have not only created over my HVAC industry, but implemented in my company. And the return on investment, the revenue increase on it's bananas. I spent an entire day getting told that the supply houses were shorthanded, and they haven't even provided the training that they need to provide for their contractors. That all of their contractors are shorthanded, and all of them have so much work, they don't have time for training nor need training right now.
Huh.
That was the common thread message that day.
Wow.
And I was a little frustrated.
Yeah. Well, like we were talking about before we started recording, like it's hard to get people into the training because everybody's so inundated with work right now that most people don't realize how much they need it,
Mhm.
And I think a lot of contractors don't realize how much money they hemorrhage by not being efficient and not having a quality team and not having quality leadership.
Mhm.
Rework, all that kind of stuff it's a constant
Yeah.
thread, but all of a sudden they're selling 2 to 3 million a year, and they're like, oh well, I made some decent money. It's like, well, you could be making a lot more if you would just fucking do a little bit of work on your business, because the stuff that
Right.
you preach, it's not the hardest thing in the world. I'll tell you that much to implement it.
No, I would never claim that it's some magic hard recipe.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it's
very
all
simple.
I mean, we took it and ran with it, and every client you've had has taken it and run with it, and 10x their fucking revenue or profit, or like it's that everybody sees improvement with it, and a lot of people don't realize that they could be holding on to more of their money,
and not only even holding on to more of their money, but generating more money with the clients that they have. And the residential service industries, they're kind of their own arena. They're their own animal.
Yeah.
And when you have someone come out to repair your air conditioner or an outlet or a toilet or something, they come out, and the standard practice is that they just focus on the problem. They repair the problem, and then they leave. And what they're leaving is a quality relationship. They're leaving creating the best experience for the client, which is going to generate recurring business. And they're leaving thousands or tens of thousands of dollars of revenue on the table over time, because they're not focusing on the big picture. They're not focusing on the client. They're solely focused on the problem. And that RVT training it stands for repairman versus technician.
Mhm.
So, I was talking to the vendors and I'm like, well, this is the best time of year,
Mhm.
right? To implement this training,
Well, not for HVAC, right? Everybody's turning their heaters on for the first time, and they're
but
busy as shit right now,
which
right?
is why it's the best time, right?
Oh.
We're prepping for winter.
Mm.
Prepping for service calls when people turn their furnace on for the first time and it doesn't work. But the objective or the idea, so kind of reeling back into the business, to the big picture business, what you're talking about is people are just busy.
Mhm.
Every person you call today is busy.
Yeah.
But how many of them are productive and profitable?
Right.
How many of them are creating a culture? How many of them are developing the people in their team? And how many people are developing themselves as leaders so they can continue to grow and either gain more market share or gain profit and revenue in the current market that they're in?
Mhm.
There's this narrative going around right now, and I'm not saying it's false, but everybody says, I'm shorthanded. I'm shorthanded. Well, my question is, what is it that you need to do in your business? Is there an adjustment that you can make with your presence in the market that you can capitalize on with the team that you have?
Mhm.
Right? If you've got a 3-person team and you would love to have 5, okay, what can you start saying no to, and what can you spend more time on developing in the market where you're going to increase your revenue with the clients you already have in the market you already have? Are you going to and be able to increase your revenue, increase your profit, and be able to pay your team more instead of constantly focusing on not having those 2 other people?
Mhm.
You can give your team a pay increase, get more profitable, efficient work done by narrowing your scope of work a little bit,
Mhm.
and answering this question: what are you known for in the market?
Mhm.
So many people are taking this broad brushstroke approach to the market, and of course they're shorthanded. They don't have systems in place to support it. They don't even know what they're known for. They
Mhm.
just do a bunch of work every day, and they're fucking busy all the time.
Right.
And they get done at the end of the year, and on paper, it's like, oh well, yeah, you guys did a $500,000, and you did 30% profit. Well, that's 150 grand.
Mhm.
Where's that 150 grand?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I know you don't have
Yeah,
it.
you don't have it. Yeah.
It's nowhere to be
Oh,
found.
I look at my P&Ls all the time. And it's like, where the fuck is that at? Like, that is missing. But our AR is sitting at fucking $350,000. And I'm like, oh, there's part of it.
Understanding that that difference between being busy and being productive. It's the same difference as being a leader and being a boss or a manager.
Mhm.
Having that control over your company, identifying clearly what that relationship with that market needs to look like, and invest in your team
Mhm.
and invest in your business to capitalize more on that market.
Yeah, and pay these motherfuckers.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's the that recurring theme of the everybody's shorthanded. Well, yeah, you're shorthanded, but are you maximizing who you have there? And I'll tell you right now, we have developed some fucking amazing people.
Mhm.
Like we've brought people up and got them to commit to things, and they're doing twice as much as they did when they showed up. And they were doing just fine at the last place they worked at.
Right.
They are happier working for us, doing more work and making more money.
And making more money.
Yeah, and it's fucking everybody's winning. Why would you not
Mhm.
fucking do that? And
Well, so I like that you said that. So if I was going to create a question out of that, what is it that the people in your company are doing that they don't need to be doing?
Yeah.
What work are they doing they don't need to be doing?
right.
We joke because early on, and in this, in the podcast and early on with the business, you guys you made an attempt in the fabrication, the off-road market.
Yeah. Yep.
And you found out quick that you didn't need to be in that market, but the decision to step out of it came later.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be purposeful about identifying the things that's not allowing you to be successful in the market, that's really stealing your time, therefore your revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And in your case, the people on your team didn't want to do it anyway.
Right.
So-
Well, there's a couple of guys that wanted to do it and we're doing it, but to make any money, then people don't want
Right.
to pay that amount of
Right.
money for that kind of stuff. And like, there are people that can make money at it. And Phil does great with Liberty Mountain Fab, but he's also been doing this for fucking 15 years.
But-
he knows the ins and outs, and
Right.
he has a brand established with it. You know?
Exactly. So if you were to ask Phil, hey, what are you known for?
Shocks.
That answer is very specific.
Suspension. Yeah.
And everybody knows that answer. And Phil's a great example of what I mean by asking and answering that question.
Mhm.
Because again, so many people, for whatever reason, they think because there's a name on the side of a truck that people know what they do.
Right.
You and I sit here and do this. This is, I don't know, like episode 142 or 143 or something. And there's still people that don't know what I do.
What do you do?
That's a great
Yeah,
question.
you build shacks for Ellis Saws. Yeah.
That's exactly what I do. That's my part-time job.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this is my part-time job. But you have to get over yourself. You have to understand that people don't know what you know about you.
Right.
And you have to create that clearness and clarity in the market. But back to my, my question is, what is it that you're known for? What work are you doing that you don't need to be doing?
Mhm.
And now business owners will create this narrative of justification of going, well, we do this because it generates this work. We do doors and windows because we also build custom homes.
Right. Right.
Then let's look at developing a little bit of structure in the company. Do you have a doors and windows crew?
Mhm.
Okay, well, does that go back to, well, I'm shorthanded. You know how much easier it is to fill a position when you know specifically what you're looking for?
Mhm.
Do you want someone that can come work at your construction company, or do you want someone that can come do doors and windows?
Right.
You narrow that.
Well, and those should be two separate entities,
Mhm.
like, because there's there's some huge outfits out of Las Vegas that they do stucco, roofing, structural steel, and framing, and they throw everything into it's all like, it's either we get all of it or we don't take any of it, kind of a thing. But where they make their money at in that is that they undercut the fuck out of 3 of those. And one of them is outrageously overpriced. But they're seeing, the developers are seeing the cost effectiveness in those other 3 trades. I think it's kind of like a tax evasion kind of a thing. They're like, oh, we're going to show a loss in these. This one will make a profit, and then the next year we're going to switch that around. And I don't know. That's my speculation,
Right.
But
Well, but you can approach the market with some level of specificity. Right? Whether you have departments, whether you have crews, and I say departments, that department could be one person.
Right.
You've got one person. Again, back to the gentleman that came out here and fixed my door. That's what he does.
Yeah.
That he is the door department.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at general contracting in itself. Most people don't realize that when you're general contracting, you're basically construction management.
Mhm.
You're not, you might have a couple of crews, but I mean, we've talked to general contractors it's just one guy.
Yeah.
He does 0 work. All he does is
manages.
manage contracts and deals with the subs.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I do fucking, 10, 15, 20 million a year by myself. And the subs just handle all my shit. He's like, I got good subs. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how do you do that?
Well, something I've learned too is, and this kind of goes back to a conversation you and I did on here, the old way of doing business. Remember that conversation we were talking about, where general contractors are coming in and they're trying to they're beating their subs down on price and then jacking the price up for themselves. Fuck those guys. Okay. When I was at the contractor fight meeting, I got to meet multiple single owner operator GCs. And the conversations I had with them, I would always kind of direct it because I wanted to know how they were taking care of their subs. Are they this typical old school way? I need cheap as possible, man. Give me a deal on this one. I'll give you 5 houses coming up. Like, are they this bullshit?
Yeah.
And every single one of them, and one guy specifically, this guy was fucking awesome. His name's Kyle. He said, my subs will give me a bid and I will increase their bid for them and then put my money on top.
No shit.
But the subs, he said, my subs don't want to sell.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to manage the project, and they don't want to run their schedule. He goes, I run their schedule on my projects. I do all the selling for them,
Mm-hmm.
and I always pay them more than they quoted me.
Holy shit.
He said, always. And guess what that does? He goes, they're there every time I call.
Yeah, right.
I bet they are.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, that's also fucking bullshit of any subcontractor to not manage their own fucking project.
but think about how many subcontractors don't know anything about business. They don't know anything about scheduling. They don't want to deal with the client. They don't want to deal with that bullshit. They just want to do the work.
Right.
And they do quality work. They're really good at what they do, and they're dependable, but they don't want to deal with the other bullshit.
Right. Well, because we'll get some of these contractors. One in particular, I'm not going to say their fucking name, but I can't fucking stand these people. We don't work for them anymore. We stopped working for them. But they wanted us to do all their paperwork for them.
Mm.
They were like, "Oh, you need to fill out these schedule of values and all this other shit, and you need these forms and this forms." And like, we needed this nice little pristine package to drop off where they didn't have to do any of the fucking administrative work. And it's like, no, hold on, this is your shit. Like, we don't fucking do this. This is. I'll give you an invoice. I already gave you the estimate. You know how much is left on it. How about you go ahead and do your fucking job and extract that shit out and put it in your little spreadsheets and do all that. I'm a welder. I don't do spreadsheets. Fuck you. You know?
And well, one of the guys I was talking to, he's known in the market for high-end kitchens, like high-end kitchens. He's a single owner operator GC. Same thing. But he does the administrative. He does all of it. He does site visits every day. He does the sales calls. He does all of it. He has set up an operation where the subcontractors that he has, he trusts. They do good work. They have a good relationship. They show up and do the work.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to deal with the administrative. They don't have to deal with the politics. They don't have to deal with the selling. They show up and do the work.
Yeah, I mean, like, because even like some of our bigger clients that we do a lot of work with, they fill all the paperwork out and they send it to us. They're like, "Hey, just sign this and send it back." Cool, I will sign whatever the fuck you want. But if you want me to go break down costs on all this other shit, and it's like, for one, I don't think you need that. I don't think you need that information from me. Like, for one, it's none of your fucking business. But unless it's like a T&M job or a cost plus, like that's understandable. But they want all of this outside information that might be a little stepping over boundaries a little bit with it. But just send me the paperwork that you need. Right. Because most of it's not necessary,
Yeah. It's also tough to understand that because you don't know what hoops they have to jump through with the client.
Yeah, but that's their problem, not ours.
Right.
That's why we're a sub and not a general. Yeah. Like, that's the whole point of the general, is to shield.
Yeah, if it's like, hey, we need you to sign this. This is what it's for.
Yeah.
Then like I understand that.
Right.
But it's a very interesting balance, and I know there's what I've seen in the last few years and the conversations I've had. There's been some interesting turns in that industry, in that market, but I'm not sure. I was totally against the idea of someone being a sole GC until I left that conference. And I had conversations with guys that one of their biggest priorities was taking care of the subcontractor.
I mean, you can't do shit without them.
Their first priority was the client. The second priority was the subcontractor.
Yeah.
That was how they ran and treated their business.
Right.
And it gave me a new perspective because I was just, again, old way of doing business, fuck you. You want me to put in shit equipment with no profit margin as fast as possible. And then you want to tack 10, 20, or 30% on top of my broke ass labor. Fuck that.
Yep.
These guys completely different.
Well, I mean, every once in a while, like, we'll get somebody that's like, dude, your shop rate's a little high. And it's like, hold on. What does it cost us for a bandsaw blade? What does it cost us for a chop saw blade? What does a roll of wire cost? What do the gases cost? They have zero idea what the overhead is, but they got a bid from some other fucking slapdick that's coming in at $85 an hour as to where you're $110 an hour. It's like, yeah, because we actually make fucking money here. That dude that's doing it for $85 an hour, dude, we were there. We're
Right.
We weren't making any money.
And that's something that people have to understand too with their business. And, again, being productive, not just busy, being productive it is what it is to operate your business.
Yeah. And that's like the
the-
amount of
it-
people that are not raising their
Right.
fucking rates right now, that are they're still running off the same rates they were in 2019, 2020.
Mhm.
Everything has skyrocketed. All of your consumables, all your fuel, fucking even payroll, like in order to keep anybody around right now, you got to pay them more. And they're still operating at the same rate. And it's like, hey, you guys got to pull your fucking heads out of your asses, because everybody's going to go under if this is how you guys want to undercut the fucking market. Now none of us make any money because
Again-
we have to try and compete.
Everybody's busy.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's busy all the time, but nobody's productive. Nobody's profitable. Nobody is able to invest in the next project.
If you haven't raised your rates by now, you really need to relook at your numbers.
Well,
You're neglecting shit.
in your AR, you mentioned the AR.
Mhm.
You will go bankrupt financing jobs at 0%, running a high AR. Now, the industry you guys work in, you know when you go into these projects what the expectation is for that net.
Yeah.
Net 30, net 60, net 90, whatever it is.
Net 30 means you don't get paid for 60 days though.
Right.
Because if let's say you start on the 1st, your billing doesn't go out till the end of the month, and then there's a month until you get paid. So that's technically a net 60,
But you understand that going in.
Right. And we accommodate for that,
But there's a lot of businesses that only look at their AR as, well, this is money that's owed to me.
Right.
You have to look at that AR and say, okay, this is money that I'm financing at 0%.
Mm-hmm.
How much of it is, how many of those nets are negotiable?
Mm-hmm.
And is there a different way? Is there a better systematic way to collect money throughout the project to get that AR down?
Mm-hmm.
But they just look at their AR and go, well, this is what I'm owed.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, and then they lean on their vendors to
Mhm.
take care of their AR for them. And that's like something we really pride ourselves in, because there's a lot of people that they just won't fucking pay people so they can keep their money in their pocket for as long as they can, because they're trying to make money on that. But meanwhile, you're sacrificing all your relationships with your vendors.
Mhm.
Our vendors bend over backwards for us because we fucking pay them every month. Before they even send out their statements, the first, I have it in my calendar, the first of every month. I get a hold of Burns Machine, I get a PDM, I get a hold of Lindy, I get a hold of all these things. And I'm like, hey, what do I owe you right now? Like, what's the statement?
Yeah.
All the bills go out on the first. We have no problem paying them. Why would
Yeah.
I not pay them?
But and to be able to do that, again, back to understanding and being able to profitably, if that's profitably,
Profitably?
goddamn, manage
Profitably.
manage your AR and manage those projects. Again, you can't manage an AR if you're not profitable. If you're only fucking busy. And that the day that I left getting my teeth kicked in by the vendors. And by the way, quick side note, some of these guys were fucking assholes. They were like, "What are you selling?" Like, I'm not. What I'm really trying to do is get you to move more product.
Mm-hmm.
You rude prick.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm really trying to do.
Right.
But I'm trying to do it in a way that your clients can better serve their clients, generate more revenue, make more money, and move more product. But you're so overwhelmed with your inability and your minimal capacity to understand how to run a fucking business and streamline and focus on what you need to be doing. Somebody walks in to help you solve a problem, and you immediately combat them with, well, what is it that you're selling?
Yeah.
Like, so sidebar, because that
I
pissed me
mean, yeah,
off.
but I don't know. I get those phone calls all the time. Like, oh, hey, bud, how you doing today? It's been a while since we talked. And I'm like, I fucking know who it is instantly. So I sell all these abrasives, and it's like, dude, fuck you. Just
But again,
leave me the fuck alone. But you were going into these facilities, right?
Yeah, I was going into the facilities, and I mean, I was asking like, hey, are you guys offering any training to your technicians? You guys hosting or sponsoring any training to your technicians?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, what are you selling? I'm like, I'm not selling anything. And a couple of the guys, like once I explained to them what I was doing, they completely pulled back the arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, and then they were totally chill,
Yeah.
totally open.
But I mean, you get those phone calls all the time too,
Oh,
though, right?
God,
There's always
I
somebody
know.
trying to sell you their shit, and it's like, oh, we get this stuff directly from China. And it's like, yeah, that's why we're not buying it. That's why we spend money
Yeah.
on quality shit. So we get bombarded with that
Mhm.
shit, you know, especially being a contractor. All that shit's just fucking constant.
Oh,
I
dude,
get pissy with people all the
yeah.
time over that.
I mean,
so.
when I had the HVAC business, I remember doing that. We had somebody coming in every day looking for a sponsorship, trying to sell something.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
even
fucking goddamn 2030 club around here. Pretty sure we sponsor every goddamn event that they have. Isn't that right, Kyle?
well, when someone would come in, especially if it was one of our vendors, and by the way, if you're, when I had my company, if you're one of our vendors, it was very important that you made an appointment with me. I really didn't appreciate you coming in. And actually, some of these guys that I talked to, I was like, hey, can I set an appointment with somebody to talk to about setting up training? And like, that was part of my approach. I wasn't there to interrupt them, distract them, or try to do anything stupid. I was just like I talk about in the cold calling. Like, I wanted to get on the schedule.
Mhm.
That was my goal, was to get on the schedule, to have a conversation with a decision maker,
Right.
that way the conversation is less stressful. They know why I'm there,
Mhm.
and we can have an open conversation with it. But for me, I was like, "Oh, you showed up. I've got 3 minutes. Go."
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Right.
I've done that. I've done that to vendors.
Well,
and
and that's not your like current vendor,
No.
like, yeah, that's somebody trying to poach new work. Cause like Ken from PDM will show
Mhm.
up every once in a while. I just walk into the office and he's there.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, what's up, buddy? But we have a really good,
Mhm.
outstanding relationship. So,
Yeah.
but
It
yeah, if it's somebody I don't know,
right.
don't just fucking walk. I don't want to listen to your sales
If
pitch.
you're going to come in, try to get on the schedule.
Mhm.
Don't try to sell me anything. Try to get on the schedule
Right.
so we can have a conversation.
Mhm.
And again, that's what I was trying to do. But that was a tangent. But back to my point. Again, all of these companies are getting up every day with the concept, or the mindset of being overwhelmed because they're too fucking busy.
Mhm.
Man, there's so much work you need to stop doing,
Yeah.
and
Right.
you need to double down and triple down on the work that you're good at,
Mhm.
the work that's profitable, and work for people that pay you, so you're not financing these projects out months and months and months, especially in the residential market. Again, industrial, commercial market, it's a different game.
Yep.
You have to know how to navigate that game. But in the residential service market, if you're going to someone's house and you're making a repair and you're leaving their home without collecting, you are fucking up.
Yeah.
You are financing that project. When was the last time that homeowner went to the grocery store, loaded up their groceries, walked out the front door and said, hey, send me a bill?
Right.
It's a crime.
Yeah, anything, because we do plenty of residential too.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do some like ADA upgrades, or we'll do custom railings or gates or something. It's like, no, we get paid today
Yes.
before we leave.
Stop financing those busy projects, and because you're going to go bankrupt doing it.
Yeah. And nobody has a problem paying you either. I'm sorry, there might be some people, but
dude,
most people don't.
So here's a great nugget for someone. If you're in the residential service industry and you are having problems, and I'm doing air quotes if you can't see, having problems getting people to pay, this is part of the conversation you need to have in the initial phone call.
Yep.
Right? If you call me and you say, hey, I need you to come out and look at my furnace, look at my air conditioner, I got a water heater leaking, whatever it is. In that conversation, I'm going to say, Nate, how do you plan to pay today? Check, cash, or credit card?
Mm-hmm. It wasn't a question.
It wasn't
a, can you pay today? It's like,
it wasn't,
hey.
Are you paying today?
Yeah.
It wasn't, can you pay today? It was, how are you going to pay today?
Yeah.
Check, cash, or credit card. I'm going to set that expectation up in the phone call before you get on the schedule, before we even arrive.
Yeah.
And then when the technician goes out there, that technician is going to confirm that. He's going to have a conversation with you, the whole introduction, it's all part of the RVT training. But in that conversation, he's going to say, Nate, he or she's going to say, Nate, I've got a note here that says you're paying by credit card today. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now we're confirming.
Yeah. Before we get started,
the method of payment.
Yeah.
And then again, there's a whole process where getting paid and collecting money is so simple in the residential service industry that you can't not do it. And the client, the client would feel weird if you left and didn't collect if you went through the proper steps.
They're probably standing there with a fucking checkbook, like, okay.
Dude, you know how many times? Because, like I said, the training is based on my experience and my company that I had. By the time I got done with the repairs, I bet 90% of them already had their method of payment out.
Yeah, presented. Yeah.
It's already there.
Yeah. Well, like for us, it works out really well too, because I mean, we sell a luxury item, right?
Mm-hmm.
So most people want to know what's the deposit,
Yeah.
you know, and so that's a question that comes up most of the time. I mean, there isn't much that we do on the residential side that's under 10 grand,
Right.
you know, whether it's fucking gates or guardrails or something like. Dude, some of these, I mean, just to put guardrails up on some of these houses, it's like 60, 70,000 fucking dollars.
You're also talking about 80-foot long porches and
Oh,
double
yeah,
decker.
we're talking
and
the
stairs
fucking
and
yeah, the
spiral staircases.
square
and-
footage is just as big on the patio as it is in the fucking house. But that stuff, they, you know, a lot of them will ask, you know, what deposit do we need? And we're like, we just need material, but it is COD. So as soon as we get done, you know, like, because they actually engage in the conversation before we do, and we just navigate it to where they started talking about money. So it's like, okay, well, just so you know, the last panel goes in, that's the day we get paid.
Yeah.
Never had a fucking problem with it. You know, it's
Yeah. But you set those expectations up. This was something that I ran into and that I witnessed a lot in the HVAC industry specifically, but it's relatable to all service industries. Dead of summer, you're running a gun and fixing air conditioners, especially in the Midwest.
oh yeah.
And technician shows up, or I'm sorry, a repairman shows up. Okay. Nate, what's going on? I don't know. The outdoor unit's not been kicked on. It's not kicking on all day. It makes a humming sound. Okay. The repairman goes back there, pops the cover. Oh, this is the bad part. Throws the new part on, puts the cover back on, turns it on, make sure there's cold air blowing out of the vents. All right, Nate, we got an $89 diagnostic fee, and that capacitor is $110. So your bill today is $195. You're like, awesome.
Right.
The air conditioner's working.
So worth $200.
So you pay the bill. I mean, even if they may even be like, oh, well, we'll bill you, which is way worse scenario.
Yeah.
But I'm running best case scenario for a fucked up situation.
Right.
So you pay, they leave, you're happy. A week, maybe 2 weeks later, you're going to call back and you say, hey, you guys were just out here a couple weeks ago, and now there's water leaking on my floor. I need someone to come out. Okay. So I'm going to send a technician back out, and he's going to go, Nate. He goes, and the drain on this needs to be cleaned. The drain's plugged up, and the air conditioner needs cleaned. That's going to be $125. What are you going to say?
Well, is this because of what you did on the last one?
You were just out here.
Yeah. And well, that's what I won't. I mean, I won't
client.
do that. Yeah, the
client
won't do that. Yeah.
The client's going to say, well, you guys were just out here.
Yeah.
And now I've got to try to convince you that even though it is a completely separated, completely different problem, the reality of the fact is the repairmen didn't do their job the first time they went out there.
Right.
They didn't do a full diagnostic. They didn't evaluate the whole system. They focused on the problem, and they wanted to get to the next call.
Yep.
All they was busy all fucking day, and they weren't productive. So now they go back, okay, the cost of rework is, to tear that apart, clean that, whether it's froze up, whatever the case is, you're looking at, hour and a half plus drive time. So you got, let's just say 2 hours. So now you got 2 hours of no revenue generation. So you got 2 hours of rework. Now you have a damaged relationship with your client. That $195 that you collected the first time just cost you probably $500 or $600.
Yep.
Because you didn't have control of your business. You weren't focused on being productive. You didn't have systems in place. You weren't investing in training in your team. You were just being fucking busy and reactive all the time. God forbid you do 4 or 5 service calls in the middle of the season instead of 6 or 7, and you make 2 to 3 times as much more money in revenue.
Right.
Plus, okay, hear me out. It's a crazy concept, Nate. Stay with me. Okay. Now I've got 3 techs running out there. Now it's doing 5 calls a day instead of 7. Well, that leaves 6 service calls a day that we were running. Well, now I can afford to bring on to attract, to headhunt, to steal another high performing technician because I'm already paying my team above standard market value.
Right.
I'm not running them into the ground doing 7, 8, 9 calls a day. They're doing 4 or 5, but they're efficient. They're generating revenue.
They're doing it right.
They're doing it right. So they're not
get
doing
the
rework.
callbacks.
You don't get the callbacks. Now I can afford to bring on another person, fully stocked in with a vehicle, train them correctly, and let them do the same thing.
Yep.
So now I've got 4 revenue generators instead of 3 doing just as much work with much more profit.
Yep. What a concept.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
Why would you do that? That's so idiotic.
So here's why. And here's, the frustrations that I experienced that day working with the vendors. And by the way, since the vendors shut me down, once I got over being mad about it, I was like, well, fuck this. I'm going to create an online course out of it. I'm not going to go fucking stand in somebody's supply house then.
Right.
I will do online training. So that's a kind of a shameless plug. Like the RVT training is going to be available as an online course, or it's going to be available as a live training. We'll do it virtually. I mean, if you're close, we'll do it in person, but it will be available both ways.
Right.
But here's why everybody is responding that way right now. Because the current market is creating a false sense of success.
Yep.
You know how many fucking people have got into business for themselves in the last 5 to 10 years and think that they're doing right because they're busy?
And they're also like turning and burning clients. Like if you look at our client list, we have like 6 or 7 very continuous clients. That's also how we like to operate. We know their people, we know their systems, we know how they pay, we know what's expected of us, and the ones that we don't like, we drop them, and then the ones that we do like, we keep them around, and they continuously send us bid packages.
Yeah.
And it's that's almost part of our system, like it's we have it figured out with these people. Let's keep the prices right. They'll get some check numbers from somebody else, but then every once in a while they're like, dude, I got to give it to the other guy because otherwise he'll quit bidding on shit. It's like, cool. Just don't give him the big one, like.
You got to understand how business is played.
Yeah.
But what you said, I want people to understand, it provides you the opportunity to say no to people.
Yep.
And here's the chicken shit way everybody does it. Oh man, we're 3 to 4 months out. If you want to wait, we can give you a bid. If not, I understand. Just fucking tell them the truth.
Right.
Can you do it or not?
Yeah.
If you meet with the client and they're a bag of dicks, I was talking to one of my clients the other day. Shout out to Casey. Like he is fucking crushing it right now.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he's a bag of dicks.
No, dude, he is. But he went to a sales call, and that's how the clients were. The clients were a bag of dicks, and he just said no.
Yeah,
because he could.
Yeah, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
dude, because I've had those jobs where I've walked in. It's always happens in the residential market, and they're always an engineer. Always. They're either mechanical, civil, or some sort of engineer.
We had some of those too,
dude. And I walked in, and they were like up my ass about we're building a fucking fence for him. It's a fence, Yeah, it's all metal, and we're gonna make it nice and presentable. We do ornamental iron. That's our shit, And we got down to the last little bit, dude, and we got all the shit put in, everything square, plumb, level. They picked a really shitty powder coat that picks up any little bit of grime and you can't wash it off. It was a flat powder coat.
Oh.
And this dude was just like, well, your guys' is quality, this and that, and you should have done it like this. And I'm like, you picked out the fucking color, bud. You showed up with that information. And like, it was this fucking pissing match back and forth about what was right and what wasn't. And, the door, we replaced the door on a shed for him and like beefed up the door frame and everything. And like, I knew it when I showed up. I was like, fuck, this doesn't feel right. Like, and now I know to trust my gut
every time,
dude. And there's one neighborhood out here that every project we've done out there is just fucking falling flat on its face. So if somebody fucking calls us from that neighborhood, we're just like, there seems to be a recurring theme out there. Like, should we waste our time going? And we hate to leave people high and dry, but it was the same neighborhood where that guy wanted the fucking wrought iron twisted the other direction. We fired the client. Right. We're like, dude, we need to not come out here anymore.
Yep.
Like, this place has not provided us anything. And the problem is we want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but we can't waste that fucking time anymore. We have too much other shit going on.
That's right. And every single time that I didn't trust my gut, it cost me thousands
Yep.
of dollars.
Yep.
And
there's a difference between being nervous and not trusting your gut.
no, I'm not talking about.
No.
Yeah,
But I'm just making sure people understand that. They're like, yeah, if you're out there doing shit that you're stepping into new markets and doing crazy new shit, like, yeah, you're gonna be nervous about it, but trusting your gut's another story. You know,
if your intuition is telling you to walk away, you should, not your fear.
Right.
Your intuition.
Yeah, that's a good way to separate those. Yeah.
I mean, not only thousands of dollars, but I think I've touched on this before. Like the one guy, I went to his house to, if he would have come off the porch, it's going to be a different story. Like, because fuck that guy, you know. And he was a pain in the ass the whole time, and I didn't want to do the job. But my partner and my sales team was like, "Oh man, this is a good job, this and that." I'm telling you, my gut tells me no. And it was a shitstorm the whole time. And then he decided he was going to call and talk to Mama D the way he talks to his wife, and I wasn't fucking having it.
Oh, yep.
And so we didn't do any work for that son of a bitch after that. But you got to trust your fucking gut, man.
Right.
Because everybody has a meter. Like everybody has a bullshit meter. Some are better than others, but you don't owe that fucking client anything until you commit. Then you owe them everything.
Yeah.
You've got to follow through.
Yep.
And
dude, there's some people you can just look at them and go, that motherfucker's not going to pay me.
Yeah.
Like you can see it. It's like in their eyes, you know, you're like, ooh, bud. Yeah. Dude, the worst part is when it's really wealthy people, you know, because we do incredible work. We really do. And they'll go out there and nitpick the fuck out of it and try to get a deal out of it. Like the difference between rich people and wealthy people. Rich people suck.
Well, and by the way, this is why you have to have a written, signed agreement.
Yeah. But even that, dude, these people are so wealthy, they can out-lawyer you and just, they're like, whatever, how much time you want to spend in court trying to get your fucking however much money. They're like, well, we'll keep you tied up for the next 2 years in this.
Send them to collections.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you don't get the money, but fuck them.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, fuck with their credit at least, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, you may get $150 out of a $2,000 bill, but fuck them.
Yeah.
But like I said, send them to collections.
Yeah.
You know? But you can also... You set that expectation. If it gets down and says, look, we have fulfilled our agreement. If you don't fulfill your part, this will be sent to collections.
Right.
Because I have a signed agreement that you're going to pay this amount and that this work is going to be done. And this work has been done.
Yeah.
If you do a lot of the things right, it rarely leads to that point.
Right.
It leads to that point when you don't have systems in place, when you don't know how to communicate and sell properly, when you don't know how to serve properly, when you don't have the right people in the right place, and the job goes to shit. That's when you get into those situations.
Yep.
Most of the time, you have allowed yourself to get into the situation with this bullshit client.
Right. Well, I'm like, knock on wood, we've never not been paid.
Right.
We've gotten paid. I mean, we have told people, don't worry about it. Don't fucking come back here. You know, like kind of a situation, but we've never not been paid on something. Nobody's ever just been like, I'm not going to pay you.
Yeah.
It's like, but we have systems in place that help prevent that. I mean, and we're transparent as fuck with everything. We're like, hey, this is what this is going to cost. We also don't run shit over on people. If it's going to cost more, we call them first. We're like, hey, do you want us to proceed?
So, you know, having confidence in having the conversation about change orders. You know, change orders that's a real thing.
Dude, I mean, that's the only way to make money in fucking public works, you know?
In public works there's a whole game. There's politics to that and all that kind of bullshit.
It's lowest bidder. That's
lowest
all that matters.
Bidder, which is, it defies everything we talk about, right?
I fucking hate change orders. But that's just the game. Right?
It's the game.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at commercial work, residential work, and you have a relationship with the client, it's your responsibility to communicate with them, to be transparent. And, you know, coming from the residential home market, you know, I spent a few years in construction. People don't understand allowances. You know, they don't understand that when you're going to build them this house and you bid X number of dollars for the kitchen. Say it's $30,000 for the kitchen. And then when it comes time for them to pick shit out,
yep,
Now it's a $50,000 kitchen.
Because they wanted those polished brass knobs on
Right.
the fucking cabinets.
And now it's your responsibility to inform and educate them. Hey, the things that you have picked out is approximately this amount of money. On the bid that we provided, we allotted this amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a difference. You're responsible for that difference. That's a change order. So many contractors are scared to have that conversation because they want to wait till they get to the end and see if they made extra money on something else where they can roll that over. It's like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Well, because when you get to the end, they're going to forget.
Right. That you ate shit on that one part.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and that one of the things that I'll tell the listeners now that I have fucked up on is don't do the work. If you know it's a change order, don't just fucking do the work and try to get the money after. You'll never fucking get it.
Yeah, that's a painful lesson.
No, because you think you're doing the right thing and you think you're helping the client and you think that you're supporting everything and that everybody's going to be as equally honest and upfront about shit. They don't fucking care that you did this. They don't see the value in it after it's said and done. They have to see the value in it before you do it.
Yeah, don't make exceptions to the system.
Mm-hmm.
Use this. That's why it's there.
Right.
So that's a very expensive lesson because all they have to do is come back and go, I didn't authorize that.
Yeah. Nope.
And you don't get
Man,
paid.
I thought we were cool though.
Right. Well, yeah.
Well, that's what you get for thinking.
But I went over budget.
Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was shitty conversation, right?
Yeah.
And again, it damages that relationship. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It really sucks.
Transparency saves everything.
Being in control of the relationship that you have with your business and the impact that it has on the market and the way that you treat your clients, just people got to stop waking up every day and just taking pride in just being busy.
Yeah.
People do that.
I mean, they do it all the time. I'm so fucking
dude,
busy.
I'm so fucking busy.
Yeah.
Like,
I do. I say that every once in a while too. Because it's usually some contractor call me like, "Hey man, how's it going?" I'm like, "I'm fucking slammed. What do you want?" Like, it's usually some stupid shit that I don't want to deal with.
Right.
You know?
Well, I don't like small talk. I'm really, really bad at it.
Dude, that's why I hate project managers. Because that's like 90% of their shit is they're trying to create some sort of rapport with you. So they're just like, "Hey man, what's going on? Oh, hey bud, how are you today? How was your weekend?" I'm like, "Fucking, what do you want?"
Yeah. Well, I'll go one or two questions deep, and then I'm immediately going to say, "Hey, what can I do for you?"
Yep.
I'm going to immediately direct that conversation to the point.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the emotional capacity to sit here and small talk.
But like a good PM, dude, let's go do that over a beer. You know,
I'm okay with that.
That's a whole different story.
Completely.
But dude, that I got 10,000 fucking things going on right now. I don't want to tell you how my weekend was. And you don't fucking care.
I was say, to be honest, I don't even care.
Yeah, you don't care. You're just like trying to. Like,
now, if I knew that you were going to something specific,
hey man, how's the rodeo?
Right.
It was great. What do you need?
Ask you that.
Yeah.
But this whole generalized.
Yeah. Dude, but because it's a PM. It's a project manager. You deal with this motherfucker all the time. We don't have to do this every time we're on the goddamn phone. I get it. We want to build a relationship and whatnot. Let's do that in person after a meeting or something, like when we're actually face to face. Don't do it over the fucking phone. I don't want to be on the phone any more than I already am,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Busy is a really poor justification for not doing things correctly.
Yep.
And people do that with their personal lives all the time too. No, I don't have time for this. I'm too busy. I don't have time for that. I'm too busy. I don't have time to eat well. I'm too busy. It's a really poor justification, and busy is such a generalized term. There's nothing specific about saying that I'm busy.
Right.
Now, you don't owe me a specific explanation, but you owe it to yourself.
Right. Right.
What do you mean you're too busy? And what do you mean you don't have time?
You can't prioritize shit.
Can't prioritize. I was talking to a contractor again when I was at that contractor fight conference in Denver, and we were just kind of talking about schedules and stuff. And I told him, I said, I don't email or talk to anyone after 6 p.m. with the business.
I feel like that's very gracious because I'm like 4:35. Fucking, I ain't answering that goddamn phone.
It-
But I also get in at fucking 5 a.m.
Right.
So it's like, we have our own schedules
That's
that
right.
we have. I get my shit done in the morning and
Mine's
the
7.
afternoons.
Yeah.
Because, dude, you're honestly, every phone call you get in the afternoon is somebody trying to divert the work off onto you. Like they're burned out on it and they don't want to fucking deal
Right.
with it anymore. So they're passing it along. If you really want to get shit done, the only time you ever really get shit done in the contracting business is between like
4 and 7.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
7 a.m. and like noon. After that, dude, it's
Mhm.
fucking just, you don't even really need to answer the phone at that point,
Yeah.
And like I'll talk to a lot of contractors, a lot of different subs, and they're like, I'm fucking working 18 hours a day and this and that. And I'm like, why?
Mhm.
That's fucking dumb.
Again, because all they are is busy.
Yeah, I work like 10 hours a day.
Yep.
Like 10 hours, that's a perfect amount of time for me to be there. Some days I try to dip out early.
Mhm.
And that's another thing too. If I don't have shit to do, I have my defined roles. If I don't have shit to do, I'm probably going to leave.
Mhm.
I'm going to go to the fucking gym or go do something else, take off for a little bit, get on my motorcycle, enjoy
Yeah.
myself. I'm not going to be like, okay, what do I need to run myself in the ground over? You have to fucking
Yeah.
detach from this shit.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And so I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I like that example and I do the same thing. But I also, like for me, my start is 7 a.m. And occasionally I will have a conversation with someone, especially if they're on the East Coast because it's already 10 a.m. their time.
Right.
I'll make exceptions to the rule. I'm okay with that. I don't push it past 6. I'll try to get to 6:30 if I need. But 7 to 6 p.m., 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. I don't talk to people before that, and I don't talk to people after that. But my point is on playing kind of devil's advocate here. It's like, well, somebody that doesn't own a business, that's in the shit, in the grind every day, like they have a different style of commitment, right? They're clocked in. If they get their work done, they can't clock out. If they do, they lose money. So balancing that, how do you create that mindset where it's like, well, dude, I've been productive. I've got everything done. If I take off a half a day early, I don't get paid for that. So I'm going to string this out. I'm going to stay busy until the end of the day because it affects my fucking payroll. And then because this is the perception, right?
But also, I'm the first one there every fucking day. Like by the time they get in, I've been slacking lately, but the pot of coffee's already been brewed.
Right.
Fucking, it's sitting there ready to go for whoever walks in. And they've also seen me there to fucking 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And there's also transparency involved. Like,
so,
I don't think anybody in there thinks I'm a slouch,
And you don't do it often.
No.
But here's the other point. And now some of my clients do this, and I know they do this, is if they've got a crew or someone in their company that gets done and they got 2 or 3 hours of work left. Again, it's like, okay, is it efficient and effective to start a new project today?
Right.
Okay. First of all, for me, if you call me, I'm going to say, are you prepared for tomorrow? Is everything staged? Is everything loaded? Is the truck fueled up? Like, I'm going to go through this checklist to make sure. But if you're good and you're only going to be busy and you're not going to be productive, send them home and pay them for the full day. It's 3 fucking hours. It's 2 hours. It's whatever it is.
Right.
Hey, you're done? You got everything done? Yeah. Go through the checklist. Dude, I'm good.
Or like for us, it's, we don't pay them for the training. But like anybody that's not certified, if you get cut out early, you should be in there fucking welding and training.
So, okay, I love that because there's a fallback plan, right? You have this expectation that needs to be met. So if you do get done early, work on this. Well, you can get paid for it. You can do this or whatever.
They want to be like, oh, I want to make more money. It's like, okay, well, we've told you how, but I haven't seen you in here practicing. I haven't seen you, you only do it when somebody gets up your ass. Like, dude, that's not how this works,? And so if you get cut out early and you're not certified yet and you take off, I don't have any sympathy for that. It's like, okay, well, dude, sorry. I mean, Yeah, you could be accelerating yourself right now, but you'd rather go drink beer. Or, dude, I mean, even our guys, they'll sit around in the shop and drink beer, and it's like, dude, drink beer and fucking weld.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
we'll even provide the goddamn beer. Like,
It's okay to do that.
yeah,
Working on yourself. But again, people, and because it's the topic tonight, everybody gets wrapped up in this concept of being busy.
mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to commit to anything specific anymore. It's just generalized term of work all the time. I don't have time for the gym, or I really like to lose weight, or I want to save money, or I want to work on my finances. All of those generalized terms are just justification for failure.
Yep.
They're prefabbed excuses. Get
I like
specific.
that. Prefabricated excuses. That's good. You just recycle them, motherfuckers. You know.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
We should make a book of them. You know.
God.
Just all the stupid shit we hear all the time.
All the time.
Like, as to why somebody
Yeah.
didn't do something.
Yeah.
I dropped an egg on my grandma's foot this morning. What?
Well, that's going in the book.
Yeah. Hold on. Say that again.
Oh, dude. We had this kid working, and fucking, he's retarded. But how, I bet 2 or 3. I think it was 2 or 3 times. He told me that his dog was sleeping on his phone on the bed and he didn't hear the alarm. I let him do that twice. I let him tell me that twice, and then the third time he started to do it, we had a different conversation.
I will beat you with your dog.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But like,
I'm gonna hit you with the dog.
Prefabricated excuse
Yeah.
right there. Just bullshit.
It worked the first time. Let's see how many times we
Oh
can
my
squeeze out of this
God.
one.
Like an ignorant
Yeah.
man. It's completely ignorant.
Yeah.
But it's just poor mindset and behavior of just being reactive, and just take ownership. Cut the shit out. And I kind of wrap this up as with this example of a conversation I had yesterday evening at the gym. A few of us were hanging out afterwards. There's a theme kind of going around in the gym right now. They're doing this 30-day challenge. It's kind of like a 30-day hard, if you will, but it's like, oh no, like Sober October or something. They're doing this challenge, and so there's 3 people over there, and they were talking about it, and I ventured over there and was doing stretching and shit with them, and we were just talking. And they asked me, they said, "Hey, you've done 75 hard." I said, "Yep." I said, what was your nutrition plan?" I said, the answer I'm going to give you is not what you're looking for, but this is what I found worked for me. I said, I listed out all of the things that I wasn't going to eat. I made a list of things to commit to that I wasn't going to do.
Like cutting out sugar or
It's like,
carbs.
yeah,
or
no this,
no pasta,
none of
no
that, no
bread.
pasta.
Yeah.
I said, instead of going, oh, I'm going to do paleo, or I'm going to do keto, or I'm going to do this, I said, I identified everything that I was going to stop doing, and it was really easy for me to create a nutrition plan out of that.
Right. Oh, I mean, at the end of the day, just fucking do Whole Foods. Shop on the perimeter of the fucking
Right.
grocery store. You'll be fine. Don't even worry about portions. You'll get full, and it's not garbage.
Yeah, just eat more broccoli.
Yeah.
If you're still hungry,
Yeah.
eat more broccoli.
Right. Or more steak. You'll fill up a lot faster
That's
with the
it.
steak. Yeah.
Eat more proteins. Eat more avocado, something. But
Mhm.
my point to that story was, if all you are is busy and you're reactive, identify the things you need to stop doing. That's going to clarify the things that you need to focus on.
Mhm.
I think we skip that step so often in planning and developing a strategy for progress, is we ignore the things that we need to cut out.
That's pretty brilliant.
Thanks, buddy.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Whiskey's kicking in.
Whiskey's kicking in. You done?
Fuck yeah.
I'm done. You can find Nate on Instagram at Nate Newton 87. I am on Instagram at The Tradesman Experience. Email is thetradesmanexperience@gmail.com, and the website is thetradesmanexperience.com. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Get out there, get shit done. Be proud to be a tradesman. See ya.